All right, welcome. You know that feeling, right? You look at a project and everyone is slammed. I mean, calendars are packed, activity feeds are buzzing, but for some reason, the project just isn't moving. It's totally stuck. It's this super frustrating mystery, and today we're going to try to solve it. We're going to hunt for the exact spot where all that momentum just disappears.
And honestly, this quote right here, it just nails it. Work finishes one stage and waits. That's it. That one little word, waits. That's our big clue. It tells us the problem probably isn't the work itself, the doing of the thing. It's in those quiet moments, the time in between.
Okay, so part one, looking inside the task. This is where we all instinctively start, right? We're on the hunt for the usual suspects whenever work grinds to a halt.
Just think about it for a second in your own work. When a project hits a wall, I mean, it just stalls out. Where does your brain go first? What's the very first thing you check?
Yeah, most of us, we land right here. We start pointing at these super common culprits. We're asking things like, okay, is someone on the team just totally swamped? Or, wait, was the task even clear to begin with? Or, the classic, did we just mess up the estimate completely? And look, these are all totally fair questions to ask. And yeah, sometimes one of those is the answer, for sure. But here's the big twist. And it's kind of the whole point of what we're talking about today. More often than not, the real problem, the thing that's actually killing the momentum, it's hiding somewhere else, somewhere we almost never think to look.
Which brings us right to part two, the real delay. This is where we pull back the curtain and find that invisible problem, the one that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
So where is this sneaky delay? Well, it's not actually in the work itself. It's between the steps. And it's not about blaming any one person. It lives in the gaps between people. And it's not a failure of a team. It's the friction that happens between teams. See the pattern? The problem isn't the work itself, it's the handoffs. Which leads to this really powerful idea. Work slows most where ownership changes. Think about that. Every single time a task gets passed from one person to another, the good old handoff, that's a danger zone. That's a moment where momentum is incredibly vulnerable. Okay, so let's actually dissect that. Part three, anatomy of a handoff. We're going to look at all the hidden costs that come with something we do every single day without thinking, just passing the work along. So what's actually happening in that pause? Well, every single handoff comes with these three invisible waiting games. First, you're waiting for attention. The person you sent it to, they're busy with their own stuff. Your task just went to the bottom of their pile. Then you're waiting for context. They have to stop what they're doing, open your thing, and figure out, okay, what is this and what am I supposed to do? And finally, you're waiting for prioritization. They have to decide if your task is more important than the 10 other things on their plate. All of this is happening silently. And this is exactly why the problem is so sneaky. Because in your project tool, the ticket is marked done. Woohoo! Progress! But it's not. The work is just floating. It's in this weird limbo. And that delay is a total ghost. It doesn't show up on any report. So how does this even happen? I mean, it doesn't start this way. It's actually a side effect of success, of growing. Think about it. In a really small team, everyone does a bit of everything. Ownership is wide, and there are barely any handoffs. But as you grow, people specialize. Teams form. Ownership gets super narrow. And suddenly, to get one simple thing done, it has to pass through 5 different hands. The handoffs just explode. And I really, really want to be clear about this. This is not about pointing fingers. It's not about people being lazy or teams dropping the ball. It's nobody's fault. It's a system thing. It's just a natural consequence of how organizations grow and specialize. So that brings us to our final section, a new place to look. And the idea here isn't to give you some 5-step plan. It's about changing your perspective. It's about learning to shift your focus away from the work and onto the wait. So if you really want to get a handle on this, don't try to make people work faster. That's not the answer. Just start noticing. Just watch. Train your eyes to see the pauses, to spot where work is just sitting there, finished, waiting for the next person to pick it up. And to help you start noticing, I want to leave you with a few questions to just sit with. Don't try to answer them right away, just let them sink in. The first one is this. In your world, where does work go to wait after someone clicks finished? And next, as you're watching, do you start to see a pattern? Are there certain handoffs, maybe between the same 2 people or the same 2 teams, that always seem to be slow? The ones that always create a bit of confusion?
And finally, here's a big one to chew on. What would actually change? What would get better if fewer things had to be passed on at all? What new possibilities would that open up? Now, there's no easy answer here, but just learning to see the whole system in this new way by asking these kinds of questions, well, that's everything. That's the real first step.